Hour. The show is called Coach's Corner here at the award-winning, fabulous radio station called KHTS 1220. This is the first time you're tuning in. It's a sports show with a famous... There are two coaches. I'm a coach. I'm a business coach. But sitting next to me is the famous coach. I mean, famous for a lot of reasons. First of all, he coached Brett Saberhagen, who was the MVP of the World Series, two-time Cy Young Award. He coached him, two-time Cy Young Award winner. Also, one of the winningest women's basketball coach in the history of the state of California. College of the Canyons, the one and only Greg Herrick.
That's me.
That's you, buddy.
Those are two things that I do.
I would take you nationally. Let's go. There's one word. What's it called?
Syndication.
Syndication, baby. People love our show. We're dedicating the show today to somebody who I just think is a fabulous young lady, Rebecca Sayer. We see Rebecca from time to time at Starbucks, what we call Starbucksville in the morning. If you want to come over and have coffee or tea with the coach, Coach Herrick and me, we're at Starbucksville next to the Corner Bakery. So Rebecca Sayer, I'm telling you what, girl, you are tough as nails, just like our radio show called Coach's Corner is going to say Jersey Mike's. I'm thinking about the sandwich. I just heard the commercial.
You're hungry again.
Oh, man, that Jersey
Mike's.
Doesn't
take very long.
Doesn't take that. If you haven't had lunch yet, go over to Jersey Mike's. There's a bunch of locations here in Santa Clarita Valley. Maybe the best sandwich you ever have. Also, if you need flooring, go over to Marty's Flooring. And one last comment. If you need furniture, you especially, go over to Doug.
I have.
Douglas Furniture.
I have gone to Doug's.
All right, let's
Douglas
get
Furniture.
You have? Okay.
Yes.
Love that place. A big shout out to you, Doug. One of the nicest people I ever met in my life, and his son, Jeff, too. All right. Big show today. You've got it all prepared. I love it. We've got new segments. We've got a segment called Sports That Are Totally Ignored. I mean, these are sports nobody cares about. And I know you got a little slap happy with me when I mentioned the McHenry Bearcats women's bowling team was on ESPN Saturday.
There's a lot about that.
They won the
wrong.
national...
Wrong.
First of all, they won the national championship. McHenry Bearcats women, congratulations. You won the bowling NC2A women's championship, so congratulations. You've won championships.
I have. And how many bowling teams are there in the NCAA?
That's a great question. I didn't do that much research. I just did 3 minutes worth of research.
You mean you could be like I finished, I won the national championship, although there was 3 schools.
Yeah, I know. So give me another sport you totally ignore.
Luge.
Luge? I don't think NC2A has a luge. I think they have sports like water polo.
Well, you're talking about the NCAA or just sports in general?
I'm talking about all sports.
Okay, luge is a sport.
Yeah, but that's an Olympic sport. If you want to call in and argue with Coach Herrick, I'll be nice to you. It's 298-5487, 298-5487.
Just make sure that the sport, it's a sport, not an activity. We've had.
You don't think bowling's a sport?
No, I don't.
And you're wrong. You don't think golf's a sport?
No.
Walk 18.
And I love it. I love golf dearly, and I appreciate the skills that the golfers have. But it's an activity.
You're walking 5 or 6 miles. If you're carrying your bag, you're wrong, Coach. I'm sorry.
You know who's carrying their bag?
Not me. Not me. We're riding a luxury car.
Now you're making it like it's they're Sherpas or something.
You're fun to play golf.
Nobody's carrying anybody's bag.
You're fun to. If you want to play golf with the coach and I, we only charge you $500, right? $500
and a box of balls.
Yeah, if you're going to play with us. Also, I want to mention that we're going to go around the country every week. So today we're going to someplace you've been. I wish I could go there. I want to go there. It's on my bucket list. Canton, Ohio.
Yes.
So coming up after 1:30, we're going to visit Canton, Ohio. We're going to talk to an expert that's been there. You've been there, so save it. And we're going to get into the Cleveland Indians, almost won the World Series. Cleveland Cavaliers, which will win again this year, the NBA, and missing a team, the Cleveland Browns of the National Football League. Oh, my God. Can you imagine being drafted Do you care anything about football right now?
I care about football a lot.
This poor guy.
Now, or any other time.
This kid's going to be, he's a lineman. Myles Garrett is going to be drafted number 1. I'm thinking, really? Really? You can't do what your friend Eli Manning did? His dad stepped in and said, no, he's not going to Denver.
He's going to make a lot of money.
17.
And if you're from the Midwest.
He's going to get a signing bonus, Kyle. What do you think? Kyle Jellings, ladies and gentlemen, working the board today. Also the general manager at KHTS, award-winning KHTS. Also, download the app. I love our app. You can listen to our show. Go to the App Store. Just put in KHTS 1220. It'll pop up. It's a free app. You can listen to all your favorite shows on KHTS, and we have some good ones, too. If you were the father, what's your son's name?
I have two sons. One is Calvin and one is Clark.
Which one's going to play in the NFL, you think?
I wouldn't. I've not hold my breath on either of them.
Okay, but if you were their dad, you are their dad.
I actually am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get a DNA test, Coach, if you really are interested.
We can't prove it. But would you send your kids to the Cleveland Browns under any when you hold them out for a year?
Here's the thing. When it comes, no, I wouldn't hold them out for a year. No, I think
Jim Brown. Jim Brown played for the Cleveland Browns.
Well,
he's one of the greatest.
80 years ago.
Yeah, I'm tired of hearing how great Jim Brown was. Okay, you were in diapers when he was playing.
I loved Jim Brown.
You were in diapers when he was playing. My God,
I was playing in diapers.
Get over it, Jim.
But
Brown.
I wouldn't hold out. I wouldn't hold out my kid because the opportunity to play in the NFL, you're going to make it just as much money there as you are anywhere else. So, and there's only a limited amount of jobs when it comes to. There's only 32.
So KHTS is award-winning station right here in Southern California, AM 1220. This is like you being shipped off to some little tiny 500-watt station in North Dakota. You will disappear. Nobody will ever know Kyle Jellings.
What are you talking
See,
about?
You're not
That's what the Cleveland Browns
No,
are.
you're not talking about the Cleveland that I visited.
All right.
I was very impressed with Cleveland.
All right. Our new segment, every week we have 10 segments. Our new segment this week is sports slogans. So my favorite, because it's on my ring, it says winners never quit. So that doesn't really count, but my all-time favorite, which is kind of yours too, right?
Yeah.
Here it is. Just load the wagon. I don't care if the horse is blind. John Madden, Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
And that brings us into the Dodger Minute and the Oakland Minute. So
you're all over the place today,
and I will continue to be.
The
show has to move. The show has to move. The show has to move. So, do you have a favorite sports slogan?
Just win, baby.
Also,
well, that's shocking.
Yeah,
that's shocking. And Oakland Raiders homer. That's his
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
You are too.
Yeah,
you're not a Raider fan.
I am. Yeah,
it's part of my DNA, Coach.
I was born
and raised in Oakland, California.
Don't go anywhere. We got the head coach at UCLA. She was the head women's basketball coach, right?
No, she's the assistant coach and director of basketball operations at UCLA.
That's big. Lives right here in Valencia, California. So, Pam, call in at 298-5487 in the 661. You know the area code 661. All right, so do you care that the Raiders are going to Vegas? Are you okay with that?
Well, Coach and I talked about this already, but
fine. We'll skip it.
Well,
we'll skip it.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I'm totally fine with it.
I
know you're kind of sad about it.
Well, they're the Oakland Raiders. You know, speaking of John Madden, he just made a comment the other day on a radio show that he was upset that there's going to be no more Oakland Raiders. They're going to tear down the stadium and build an apartment complex, and there's going to be no history of the Raiders anymore. And it's kind of a slap in the face to all the ex-players. But I appreciate the Oakland Raiders. To me, they'll always be the Oakland Raiders, even if they change their name to Las Vegas. However, it's business. It's totally a business. The Oakland, California business people and the politicians refused to build a stadium in Oakland for the Raiders that was that would meet up to the standards of all the other stadiums.
You're putting people to sleep. Let's move on. Caller, what do you want to talk about, caller? Hello, caller.
You got Pam on the line.
Oh, Pam, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Nice to meet you here at KHTS 1220 AM. So, Coach Greg Herrick, your buddy, is here, and he's putting everybody to sleep about the Oakland Raiders. But you're going to talk about UCLA, the fabulous Bruins, which is my son's favorite school. I'm a Duck, so I don't even want to conduct the interview because you're a Bruin.
Okay,
so go ahead.
The reality is, at least we're in the same conference, so you can't be totally mad at me.
No, and actually, you can join us in a week or two. We're going to have a Pac-12 report. So if you listen every Monday at 1, you can contribute to the Pac-12 report. Coach Herrick, go ahead.
I'm not saying I like that you're covering the Pac. That's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
Pam, how you doing?
Greg, how's it going over there?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to make a living as a talk show host, but my partner keeps nipping me in the bud here, cutting me off and telling me I'm putting people to sleep. Have you, all the time that I've known you, have you ever known me to put people to sleep?
No, you're good.
You don't allow them to go to sleep, right?
Yeah,
No, you've watched him coach, haven't you, Pam?
Oh, yes.
Very close. And let me officially introduce you to our audience here. You know, you're the assistant women's basketball coach at UCLA. You're an 85 graduate of the UCLA, and that means you're just a lot younger than us. And you spent 28 seasons at UCLA. That's incredible to me.
Lucky. I'm lucky. That's what it means. I'm very fortunate to be at the school that I love for as long as I have. It doesn't happen often in college, as you know.
And you've worn many hats there as a coach. Now, for the last 9 years, they say you're the director of basketball operations. What does that really mean?
Back when I started coaching at UCLA, the stuff that I do now, actually the coaches ended up doing themselves. But now that's kind of crafted into its own kind of admin position that does everything from the budget to academics to travel to equipment to on-campus recruiting to anything pretty much that's needed. So whatever we need to do, we get done.
Where are you now? Are you at UCLA or are you at Jersey Mike's having a sandwich? Be honest, where are you?
We literally just finished today is day one of spring workout. So we started this morning at 8:15 and just got back up to my office in time to call you guys.
Oh, very cool. We're honored to have you. So, quick question. We just did a segment. It wasn't very long. Famous sports slogans or quotes. So when you were coaching, did you have a famous quote?
She is coaching.
I know, but maybe she has a quote.
Tell me what you guys have already used. Give me some examples.
Just load the wagon. I don't care if the horse is blind by John Madden. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. No crying in baseball. Not over. I'm not going to say that. They asked John McKay, what did you think about your team's execution? He says, I'm all for it. Stuff like that.
Well, the woman who hired me at UCLA was Billy Moore, who was the 1976 Olympic coach, and Pat Summitt's mentor for those people who are big Pat people. But
Hall of Famer.
Her slogan always was, this was my entry to college coaching, was, "Don't tell me the sea is stormy, just bring home the ship." So that was the reality of every day here. Don't tell me the sea is stormy, just bring home the ship.
All right, that's really good, Coach. You should write that down.
I'm writing it down. I love that. Don't tell me I love it. Don't tell me the sea is stormy. Just bring home the ship. I love it, Pam.
Now, a lot of people, because of you had all this success at UCLA for all these years, but you were a high school coach right here in town at Hart High School, and
correct.
And in 1989, you were the CIF Southern Section 5A champion.
Correct.
How was that? Tell us about that.
Well, Hart was actually a great experience for me. I came to Hart right after graduating from UCLA, so it was, I had coached at St. Bernard's and Van Nuys High School while I was in college, and then came to Hart and had the opportunity to take over a program that was struggling a little bit. They had gone through 4 coaches in 5 years when I got there, so I think they were just glad to have anybody who wanted the job at that point. So, and I did. So had some great kids, started freshmen on varsity, took our lumps early. We were 0-10, I think, our first year in that league. Went 5-5 the second year, and 10-0 the year we ended up running the table and went in CIF. So a lot of it was just work from those kids. They were some special, unique players. You know them. You and I had the opportunity to teach and coach together. Greg knows this, but I was actually on the committee that got him hired at Hart High School, so I take partial responsibility for that.
And they've held you in ill repute for all this time, for prolonging my career.
We're interviewing, and hopefully you'll come into the studio sometime, Pam Walker, ladies and gentlemen. She's the UCLA assistant women's basketball coach. So honored to have you, and hopefully you'll come in the studio. When you were coaching with Coach Herrick, what kind of coach was he? I've seen him coach lately. So he's like a volcano. Was he that way when he was younger?
Yes, he was very much that way, and he was great. I mean, Greg came in, he immediately brought energy. He had come from the Valley. He had his own, I know you gave him your slogan, Greg. I know you did. Come on.
What was it? What was it, Coach?
Our mission is transition?
Our mission is transition. Yeah, between our mission is transition and when the Oakland Raiders moved to L.A., he had notepads that said, "Never will I say L.A." I still have notes from that notepad from you.
Yeah, I will never
years
say Las
past.
Vegas.
That was your slogan. Your mission is your transmission.
No, our mission.
Our mission is transition. I still use it, not as much, but I still. Because people have seen my players.
You're listening to Coach's Corner here with Coach Greg Herrick. I'm your business coach, Coach Ron Tunick, on the show. We call Coach's Corner.
I want Coach Walker to tell us about what a great night you guys had in defeat against UConn in the Sweet 16 this year. Tell us about that game.
Well, to be honest, we last year, we were in the same regional. We were also put into the Connecticut regional a year ago. We ended up playing Texas in the Sweet 16 game and watched UConn literally dismantle Mississippi State in the game before ours, won by 60, and that was actually the same Mississippi State that turned around, a week later and beat them this year in the Final Four game, which is snapping the streak. So we saw our names come up back in the Bridgeport Regional and got shipped back out there, and this time we were playing UConn in that round. So, to our kids' credit, I think that the preparation the entire week going in was not a, hey, we're going to stick close. We literally went in there with the belief and still believe that we could have beat them that day. Really do. Jumped out early. We had them down 9 from the jump, literally off-jump ball. Just went on a great streak. Our kids were on fire. And then we went through literally a 6-minute streak where we could neither score nor rebound, which is, Coach Herrick will tell you, that seems to be a problem when you can't do either of those two. That means somebody else is scoring. And we battled. Ended up losing by 11, but really proud of the kids and came away not feeling like it was something that we were lucky to stay close, but really feeling like that's a game we thought we could win.
Now, did you see anything in that game that would have indicated to you that they were in jeopardy of losing at that time?
A little bit, yes, only from the reason that, they graduated the first, second, and third pick in the WNBA draft last year. And if you talk to Gino, they never expected to be undefeated even in December or January, let alone in March. So I think that, a lot of things happened. Some of it luck, some of it skill, some of it, you know this, Greg, if your kids believe that they can win, sometimes that gets you through wins you're not even supposed to have. And early in the season this year for UConn, Florida State had a chance to beat them at the buzzer, missed a layup, and they ended up beating them in overtime. They played Maryland really tight. They played some really close games early that I really think Gino and his staff thought they would probably lose 1 or 2 of those. And from Gino's perspective, those of you guys that watched the semifinal game and saw him kind of smile after the loss to Mississippi State, and Greg, you know this as a coach, I think there's part of Gino that thought, okay, now he's going to get those kids' attention, and I think they'll be 30 points better next year. I really do. I guarantee you they're back in the gym and working hard, and it's hard to get kids' attention in victory. You're telling them that things aren't exactly how you want them to be, but you're undefeated. So are they listening to you? I don't know. I think he has their attention.
You got to come in the studio, Pam. You're a great radio guest. Pam Walker, UCLA assistant women's basketball coach, and also for the last 9 seasons, director of basketball operations. You're married to a famous local coach, Larry Muir. And I'm so curious. He has a tough game. Does he bring it home at night? And do you bring it home at night? How the two of you even live together being 2 coaches? How does that work?
It actually is awesome. I've got to be honest. He came with us to Connecticut when the football season's over. He still, obviously, they do off-season workouts in the weight room and all that good stuff, but he's all in on the Bruins. And, Friday nights are pretty sacred for me when it gets to November, and playoffs is when it gets kind of tight. And I actually missed their game at San Clemente this year because we were in a tournament in Cancun in Mexico. So had to watch that one, ironically, via FaceTime through a friend in New York watching the game to be able to see that game. But it's great. I think I think we lend to each other's teams equally. I'm thankful for every Friday night I have. I love having him around the Bruins. He was a UCLA grad as well, so he's equally invested here. So it's great.
Well, love having you on the show. It's called Coach's Corner here at KHTS 1220 AM. Pam Walker, the UCLA assistant women's basketball coach and director of basketball operations. So we have like 30 seconds left. I just want to say something. I watch a lot of women's sports. I love the Oregon Ducks girls softball team. I have to throw that in there, Pam.
That's okay.
That's okay. The women's sports seem to be so much more classy, respectable, sportsmanship. Men can learn a lot from watching women's sports. What is your take? You got 30 seconds on that. I just think women do a better job. It's real, true amateur sports, and it's fun to watch.
I think it's 2 things, and I'll be quick. One is that, for a vast percentage of girls, there are women, they're not thinking that they're going to make a living doing their particular sport post-graduation. Some are, more and more, and we love that. But the reality is they're looking big picture, and I think there's a humility to that. And secondly, I think it's just the purest form of it. Coach Wooden used to come, to games here, and he, frankly, the last 15 years that he would come to UCLA, he would say that he enjoyed watching the women's games more than the men's because it's about fundamentals. It's about sportsmanship. There's a certain gentility to it that I think that, that's a positive, in athletics and all the lessons you can learn from it. I think that that's not a bad thing to take away.
Well, you're a great guest. When you come in the studio in a month or so, we didn't get it. We have running out of time, or we got a hard break. Go to commercial, but I want to talk to you about recruiting because it's a big issue in college sports.
Huge.
Yeah, huge issue. So will you come back in a month?
Whenever you guys need, and I'll tell you, it's not just huge. It's not just a huge issue, and Greg knows this in the college game. It's a huge issue in the high school game too.
Yeah, huge, and I want to spend a lot of time on it because money now, as you well know and Coach Herrick knows, is coming into college sports. Some new rules are going to be taking place. So we'll address all that in a couple of weeks when you come back with us on the Coach's Corner. Thank you, Pam. Thank you so much. Pam Walker, UCLA's assistant women's basketball coach and for the last 9 years, Director of Basketball Operations. I promise she'll be in the studio in a couple of weeks, and we'll get into the weeds, Coach, of what's going on in the NC2A recruiting. All right.
Well, Pam, you're the best, and give my best to your hubby there, who was my...
Greg, you know the truth. Anything for you. That's why you got me.
There you go.
That.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back, and we're going to go to Canton, Ohio. You've been there. We're going to visit the NFL Hall of Fame. We'll be right back.